I would like to start off today's shir with something that happened in the minyan I daven in. I daven in this minyan sometimes that I have no other words to call it than a haimish minyan. It has all the diseases of a haimish minyan. Like they have yard sites and they have a kichalach sometimes, you know. And they speak Yiddish. It's like a haimish minyan. And it's like you carry away. This is Israel. Anyways, so they sell the aliyahs, and you know this guy buys one for this guy. You know all those diseases that happen with Jews. And one guy's davening for the Amid, and they're up to Chaitzah, and they're waiting. Usually, the Gabba is machabit somebody to take Chaitzah. So the guy who thinks he's the Gabba, that's not. It's all part of this Jewish disease. He tells the guy who's davening for the Amid, "That's machabit alei." You know, do it yourself. And the guy just stood. You know, he just opened the door and Kodesh, took out the sefer to himself, a big smile, and afterwards, I walked over to him and I said, "You are not machabit anything or anybody." So they already know me well enough to know that, you know, there's some kind of a makodet, you know, surrounding these things. What's the point of giving it to somebody else? Because the more people that are involved, what? Okay, so now, if the chazan is going to do it himself, right, you weren't machabit him anything. Nothing happened. If anything, as Ari said, a negative effect.
When did be by the fact that him doing
What's I saying beforehand? Let's just appreciate the thought, right? People think that it's be'etzem a kovid. It's not be'etzem a kovid. It's a kovid because you are having more people involved. That shows that it's a coveted item. In other words, you see that everybody wants to be involved. So if you're not involving anybody, I was just at a chasna. In America, right? What's the COVID? We discussed this, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
What's the COVID? Kriyas silver.
Yeah.
Right.
Here it's.
It's not right. Why? Because it's not be'etzem. This is what we discussed last week. Yeah. What is the COVID of opening up the door and Kodesh and taking it out? You're making a matzah. You're making a taram. So if you're going to have the guy who's doing it naturally do it anyways, you didn't do anything.
But he might have done it because of Tircha de Tzibura.
I didn't say whether he should have done it or not.
That wasn't the same category.
No. One is covered for Tzibur, one is covered for the Sefer Torah. It comes right sure maybe it's the right thing to do. But what is the subject that we're discussing?
So you're saying by the fact of him doing it, so it's less covered for the Torah?
No, the point was let's make a
spread the wealth. Is that what it spread the wealth?
No, by the fact that we're making a big deal of it, so then it gives prominence to the event. I have a friend of mine. He made his third Siyam Shas that he made that I attended. I was very moved because at this Siyam Shas, his son, who was 35 years old, he said, "I want to tell you what you said at the Siyam Shas 2 times ago." I said, "I was here." You know, and he said, "Well, I said, oh, that's a very nice work. I like that." But I've no. So the guy himself said at this Siyam Shas, he said, "I want to thank Rabbi Chayish for making me make the Siyam Shas." Now I claim no credits to anything, you know. So he proceeded to say, he said that 3 times ago when I finished Shas, I told Rabbi Chayish that I'm finishing Shas. And he asked me, are you making a siyum? So I said, I don't know, maybe I'll do something, if I. So you looked me in the eye and said, you're a let's. You spend so many hours, so much energy to learn Shas, and it's not worth you as a piece of herring. What's the matter with you? You're a let's. You make your joke out of your life. And you forced me then to make a Siyum Shas. So I'm making a Siyum Shas today, and he's still smarting from that slap in the face that he got from me however many years ago. Right? Now, how important is it making Siyum Shas? That's true. What? Okay. It's not so important. What?
But it is. It's not what it is.
So, right. So some people need a chizuk, and some people don't need the chizuk. So, there's a statement that's being made.
Even without the chizuk, though, that's, you want to trust somebody, they're not doing it. It's a tremendous accomplishment, any way you look at it.
I agree. I'm not arguing that that's a total accomplishment. But not everything you have to make a celebration about. That's all.
It's chizuk for the.
So that depends on who. There's a lot of all that could be true, but that's not the etzem.
That's not the etzem. The fact that you possibly, by the fact that there's having a siyum, so and getting people, maybe the other people get involved, they're also doing.
So that's a good thing to do, but that's what's called a good kosher gimmick.
Yeah, but it's for limit Torah.
It's a gimmick for a good cause. There's kosher politics too. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. The Rishonim say you should give tzedakah, you should put your name up on the wall because look at other people to give. Does that mean that it's better to have your name on the wall or not?
Yeah, according to what I'm saying, yes.
But you understand, this is the. I just right now involved. I'm just telling you, I involved someone from England. He has irreligious family members, and he had a suffix. One of his brother called him up from England. He wants to give money. He said big money. So I already know. I don't know his brother at all, but I know from this guy that his brother has money. I don't know what big money is, but I know that's more than I make. Let's put it that way. And he said he wants them to give it to this thing or to that thing. And I said, give it to X, even though Y is a better tzedakah, because it'll be machazik your brother more. So I went to the gabbai of that tzedakah, and I said, this guy is going to come and make an offer to give big money, and he's going to say that he doesn't want any cover, he doesn't want any. I know, that I know from the dealings. I said, they don't want any cover, but you have an obligation to make a big deal about all the things that you do in your organization and let them know. They have to feel connected. So the guy tells me, but every time I try to even write them a nice letter, they get infuriated at me. I said, that's not that. I'm looking for cover. Looking for connection.
Very important.
That's very. I'm the one that created this reality. I'm aware of that, but it's not the covet. Sometimes covet makes the connection. You do that too. And that's it. The nakuda over here is that when you have people make a big deal about something, then it becomes important. So over here we have the more people pass the same Torah too. And there's the Gemara and Saita, the more people that are involved, that shows that it's important.
What about at a bris, we have a fatwa?
That's exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. The more people involved, everybody have a piece of the cake. And that gives prominence. That shows that this is something that people go out of the way to do. But when you can have one person do it, so then you didn't make a big deal of it. The guy who makes a siyum, when he finishes shas, with the same eir kechach and herring as he does when he finishes a mesechta, is a letz. If you never do anything and you make egg kichach and herring, when you finish Shabbos, it's Beseder. I was an auto davar. You have to be mechabed each thing kefi ha'inyan shelo. Obviously, if you have Malcolm Bazan, that I'm not. Anyways,
So who are you mechabe? You mechabe?
you're not mechabed anybody. As you weren't in shul on Shabbos, I said over that the person wanted to help a certain gadol put on his coat. So the gadol said, "I don't want to be mechabed you." Who is being mechubed? If Reb Chaim Kanievsky had you put his coat on, who got more?
Sure.
Right? That's the Gemara. That's the Gemara says. Right? So when we have more people involved, so the people are, the fact that they're involved, it shows the Sefer Torah is important. That's the idea. So when you say just take the covet yourself, so you didn't show that the Sefer Torah is important. That's what I pointed. No, this is part of the. No, this is part of the Heimischkeit of anyways, they only had a big laugh after they understood that the whole thing is a bunch of baloney what they're doing over here. Anyways, Misha Kuf Mem Zayin Beis. Yochel Misha Yirtzel Liknois Lahoishet Hamil Lagoilo. A different person can buy this separate cover. And the goylo cannot say that's mine to give out. The alpha pisha kana glila like kana lika hami'ilim. There was a cover to be the person to pass. We stand over here, so guy has hagba. So you should have gabbai gives to the little kid the me'il. That's a covet. That's what we're talking about. Being involved. And the guy who bought Klila say, no, I want to have my guy better hand her over. No, you can't do that. It doesn't belong to the Shliach Tzibor. It's not part of what the Chazan is supposed to do. And this is, I just mentioned over here, for the big fights that there are in many shuls. One of them is about the Kaddish after Kriyas HaTorah, who gets it. Anybody who has gray hair, when they were young, never heard of anybody else besides the Balkaira do it. You agree or disagree?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Now, in reality, this is something which is brought down from places long ago. The minig in Klal Yisrael is that it belongs to the Balkaira. Whether that's really true halach or not, there's a lot written on the subject. But to hear it in the shul, we don't give it. We don't. A lot of things we do in the shul today, shaloi lensuya. We don't make a big deal about it. In this shul, there's no such thing as shlishi. Shlishi and we are the same thing. So we don't give any distinction. But there is a source for such a thing. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah. The actual bringing it to the bima, that does belong to the chazan. That's part of his job. But the Haitzav Achnasa, taking it in and out of the Kodesh, that doesn't belong to him. I just want to mention something which is Nageya also that people with gray hair never heard of when they were little. But it does exist in the Torah literature, and that is somebody in the 9th month to get psicha. You ever heard of that when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, no.
They only started having babies recently, right? Yeah. Okay. What? You would have noticed it. When you got married also, wasn't this? It's a recent what? You heard about it. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. You also heard about, they say the Rachman after Birchas Hamazon, right? You heard about it. You do it. I don't do it. I don't do it. And I heard about it when I was a kid also. That wasn't done. There's the oil my yeshivas is what brought that into Kal Yisrael. And it really came, I don't think it came from Europe either. It came from the people who came back from Eretz Yisrael. It didn't come from Chutz La'aretz. It came the outgrowth of Minhag HaGra. They all went Kal Yachasreinu. I am Baruch HaShofar. It's the Minhag HaGra was to do that. Anyways, yes, so we do give Baruch to Baal. Obviously, you never made it to the end of the bench. What? So? Would you eat pizza in between? It's while you're in the benching mode. You made a rachman for the Baal Bayis. Now, you could ask a better question, which is those who were masakin to say the rachmans, didn't they know the Gemara? Why didn't they put this rachman first? But they also could have asked that question, and there's a reason why it's in the order that it is. But that's what the Aruch HaShulchan writes, that this is the makom that which it says in the Gemara. That's why they changed the nusach, and there's other things which are discussed. But that's really where it comes from. We do the Birchas Baal Bayis. Anyways, those who do it like it says in Shulchan Aruch, I have no complaints that people do things like it says in Shulchan Aruch. I'm a liberal rabbi. Okay, I allow you to do what it says. Anyways, where are we up to over here? Oh, so this is a question as to, says when you come to the beginning of the 9th month, you're supposed to give the person psicha. How many times?
Every time.
How do you know?
It's just you say it. I mean, he comes to the show, you give it to him.
When I was I did once.
What do you once? Once in the month?
Once per baby.
That's it?
Unless you're having twins or triplets.
No, every time. Every Monday and Thursday, we're at Shabbos. He comes to the show.
People want it, but they don't have it.
Unless somebody complains. How come he's getting
There's the Chaim Kanievsky, he says they give it to him every time. The earlier sources say you give it to the person once.
just once?
Someone in Abel should get after every week too.
So I'm on Shulchan Aruch.
Yeah.
I got rid of that too. No, I got rid of that because I feel that it's yeah.
That could be different.
Right, so I want to avoid that.
Exactly.
So that's all. So the Manu.
Yes.
So we shouldn't have those who can and those who can't, and people take it personally.
Right.
I don't know if you know that there's a famous Yiddish joke, but but what I can say, why can't I say out loud? My father, as a friend of Rafa, used to correct me on my diktuk when I was learning. Davening, and he was very makbar on diktuk, and I didn't take after him. And he said that there was a joke. There was one time in Amoritz who had a son who became a very big Talmud, a very big Rav. And so he was Machaber's father to sit right next to him in the front of the shul. And his father used to daven parts of Shemona Esrei out loud. And it was like disastrous. And the son was mortally embarrassed from his father. So one time he asked his father, could you please say Shemona Esrei with the daughter, especially, the parts that I don't so well. So you should say, I don't want to, embarrass you. And the next day, his father's in shul says, Montik and Dinstik with Tzadikim. I'm going to answer. Everybody in shul is laughing. So, it's like his father, he says, it's like he says, what I know I can't say, well. That's simple simple reading problems, understand? What you don't know, just be quiet, period, you understand? This is an old Jewish jokes. Anyways, but the halacha l'mais of the earlier sources that I saw, rak pamachad. L'maisa, Chaim Kanievsky says that you can do it as many, I guess it works, whatever. At some point, this baby's gonna come. But אין זכות תביעה על כאלה דברים. אין מגיע לי. It's not a chiyuv. I'm saying this right now because it's not negeya. But that means when somebody has a simcha and somebody wants to give him psicha, and he says, no, I need it because I'm the 9th month. Well, yeah, the Gabba's discretion. He doesn't need anything he would like. That's all. And if he had it once already, he has a chus to have it a second time. This is an important idea as far as Sikha is concerned. Okay. Haggadah Sefer Torah Yamidenu Keneged HaTefer K'dei she'yikara yikara b'tefer. Now, the emes is that I have no practical understanding of this halacha, even though I understand it perfectly. I don't know why is it going to rip, and where you're holding it is going to cause it to rip in a different place. I don't really get it. Piece of parchment is pretty durable and doesn't rip so easily. I don't really know. I understand the concept that it's easier to separate the stitches than it is, but so I would imagine that our parchment and their parchment are not the same. Just it's not, I don't get the. I wish I could say that. I believe the reason why people are mocking is because they have no idea that it's such a halacha.
You find a lot of people correcting the guy after the kid gets it. That's just their.
Yeah, but this is the right thing. This is the right thing to do. And my experience, and we had this in this shul more than one occasion, when you have an old Sefer Torah and you do it ala tefer, so then the tefirot rip. And when you do it shelo ala tefer, the tefirot stay. Nothing happens. I never saw parchment rip from any. You ever see that?
No, see, I understand the fact that if there happens to be some type of rip because of the old age, because maybe the parchment was that, and once it starts ripping, then you stretch it, it'll rip easier, as opposed to on the tfar, then at least on the tfar it'll be it'll
I didn't say that. I'm just saying it's this is halacha. I'm not saying that halacha does not apply. I'm just pointing out that I don't see our existence that it goes so well with the mitzvahs of today. Anyway, so
one who gets Kalula should try himself to be good.
I think so. The halacha on Shulchan Aruch. Anybody who doesn't say Shulchan Aruch, no, not only that, I have no reason to not do it. That's what I'm just saying. But I've on the older ones I've seen it happen here twice. I saw it happen twice here in this room. On that Steiner said, what? You remember that happened? It happened once at Simchas Torah, and it happened once a different time. Yeah. Oh, anyways.
Why do you give Lila to the little kids who can reach it then? Huh? No, people that have fun give it out to them. Right?
I want you to know that I am not a gabbai here in the shul. That's true, but it's not me who does it.
It doesn't seem to be a cover to do that. It's like saying, I will just give it to the kids.
So there is a reason. Right now, saying over what I've heard from Anashim Gedolim, there is reason that we want children to be integrated into the service. What? Yeah. Right. We want, and even though there's a cost involved, but the family is a mugzam. The kid, you can only see the kid with the microscope.
If you do like an amusement park, if you can't reach this level, you can't.
Okay. true. This is true. I would just tell you, I'm not picking on you, but when you have a family simcha and you want your anatol to be involved, we'll see what you have to say. I'm not talking about, I'm not, yesh anashim, and I've seen this, I've watched this. People that age 45, 50, complaining about little kids making noise in shul, and think when they become 65 and their aim come to shul, they say, why is everybody, I'm seeing the same people I've been.
Can't hear anymore.
All right. Anyways, I'm going to say for Torah Gadol B'Chutz, Ukashu Mahatkol Mahatkol Yifnim. I would just like to say that Rashi on the Gemara that this is born out of, his pshat is much simpler to understand than that of Shulchan Aruch. He's talking about, Rashi says, when a person, we have here in the shul those little bars, you know what I'm talking about? From Mr. Kornblum. What? The wheels, yeah, to be good them. So, but a lot of times you have here in Eretz Yisrael, and I have much to say about it. If you look at the Yerushalayim and Gaboyim, it's an amazing thing that they do. When they have to be done, let's say for Torah, they don't even take it out of on Kodesh. They spin it.
I do that.
And it's an amazing thing to watch. I would never try that. I don't know. It's great. Okay. It's
Much easier than sitting there and.
So I'm asking you a question. I don't know the answer to the question I'm asking you.
Well, yeah, Lama Love. That's right.
You know what? I rest my case. If it took you that long to come up with the Lama Lo,
No, because I had to think about the fact to bring it up.
I'm going to answer the question why you don't know. But I'm just telling you, just because. No. We're talking about he's doing it. Shloimeh's money. We're doing it.
Right,
Doing
Shloimeh's
it.
money.
It's not at the time. Take it out.
I said, the Sefer Torah is not a spinning wheel. The Aron Kodesh, there are halachas. Just things have to be done the kovid rosh.
So it's more covered with the fact that going in. I don't think it's more covered.
Why do you think it's more covered? Let me tell you a halacha. You are not allowed to have a shelf screwed into the wall and put an Aron Kodesh on that shelf. The table or shelf that Aron Kodesh has to be on has to have legs attached to the ground. Not attached, but sitting on the ground. What is wrong with hanging an Aron Kodesh? What I asked you what's wrong? I asked you rice. What is wrong? Why was not covered? It's screwed in. I have jumboing. Yes, jumboing.
You do that personal one.
So maybe you shouldn't put a secretary inside an arm altogether. You can put a person inside an arm. Well, my kesher. Is that covered or not? The answer is yes, Shepherd.
The original Lauren had legs.
No.
So why do we why do we have legs?
It stood on the floor.
Yes.
I know that. I'm joking. I'm asking why.
You want to know how you allowed to put an urn on the floor?
No, why does an urn have to have legs?
It has to look sturdy. It should not be tolui.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. I guess looks aren't everything. Anyways, but no, I'm saying when you're holding a Sefer Torah and you're spinning it, I have one word to use: precarious. Is that a precarious position?
It's sitting on the.
What's it sitting on?
Sitting on the wood.
It's standing. If you're spinning it, it's like a dreidel standing. That's what it is. And you're just holding it. Hopefully that it should. That is called, my father would say, irresponsible.
Still have the chain in front of it.
The stance is not a stance of
Take
COVID.
off the mantle and take off the
His stance is not a stance of the idea. It's Jose. I didn't say it's Osir. You can't do it if it's in the mantle. You need to have freedom. It has to have no friction.
Well, the strap you could take off the cover of it.
No, there'll be friction. It has to be.
Yeah,
Obviously,
you have to see where.
You
where the
obviously
stop is.
never saw it done. That's all. Anybody who has this kind of question never saw it done. Are you masking it's precarious?
That's what I thought about it when you asked me that
I
question.
know that. I said I'm going to explain to you why it took you such a long time. So, but your answer is the problem is with you is that you're an American. Time is money. If I can save time, it justifies everything.
I know somebody who doesn't not have everyone get up.
There's nobody there. You're the only one in shul.
Friday night, everyone's sitting.
You're not in shul. This is the way that it's done because it's easier. So it's easier. I didn't say it's usher. I just the reason why it's done is because it's easier. They did not take into account that maybe it's chosek takava.
Maybe this is one of the things that depends on the place, like certainly become a media here.
Excuse me. If I was Lloyd of London, would I charge more to ensure the Sefer Torah from falling in that situation, or when it's done on the table? Just answer the question.
Yes.
Okay, so that's called. It's not the COVID.
Like, for example, give it away example. I seem to remember before the Papa should never be
Never be. That's not it should never be. That it's chayser and kavod hatzibur.
Right.
There are things.
If it is though, that issue and all of that seem to
Right, and that's everybody agrees that it's not the maximum. Nahal, but we have to function. So sometimes we're mevater because we have to function. I didn't say the word usher now, but the question over here was, if you wanted to give more cover to the Sefer Torah, do you think it's equal, more or less than doing it on the table? That was the question I asked. Okay, that's all I said. That's all. Have a great evening. No, I'm not.
I just started to do it recently because I saw it done about 3-4 years ago. So when I had to do it, it's much easier.
I didn't say that. I didn't say anything. I'm just pointing out that the person who says that I'd rather do it on the table and spend the extra time, you would say, I'm aware.
I know that. That's worse. You're really shifting.
I'm aware. I'm aware. I'm aware. I'm just saying a statement. What is our premium? That's all. I didn't say Oscar.
I think people do it on the Venus stand.
Really? No, it's very good because it goes against the thing and it works much better.
Yeah, you have less friction.
More people holding.
It's not just floating in the air, it's floating in over
It's not
here.
floating, you have people holding both sides when it's standing up instead of on top.
No,
I thought you were talking about one guy.
No.
Like this floating over here.
It goes pretty fast.
it's a wonderful process, but not always is speed the issue. That's all. I'm just pointing that out. I didn't.
I always wanted to put in the Sparky so we could put a motor in it.
I would like to express the same sentiment.
I like that.
If you could do it without tircha or do it with tircha, which way do you want to do it? Anu mitchabdim l'sharet haSefer Torah. It is not a chore. This is not a chore. And the Poiskim, I'm really sorry to have to go and scream right now. The Poiskim Shrai Chai V'Tayom on the shuls that have on the bima these two holes in the corners to hold the Sefer Torah, so that Chas v'Shalom, someone shouldn't have to be inconvenienced and have to hold the Sefer Torah. We could prop him up in the corner.
You can give it to a kid.
When I was a little kid, I used to love to hold it. Get up there, oh man, that was,
People were more than happy to give it.
okay?
This is,
I
you see,
did.
you just confusing the issue.
No,
The
really.
question is, which is the more Mekabedic way to do
Is that more become for adults to hold it than for a child?
it? It is. It is.
Don't worry,
I'm
I
not
held
with
it
that.
tight.
But because you do things wrong, it doesn't mean that the idea is wrong. No, it's you're jumping from one thing to the other. Why do we have that apparatus? So somebody shouldn't have to be matriach himself to hold the Sefer Torah. Something sounds wrong about that. You think it's more comfortable to Sefer Torah to be standing alone in the phone?
No,
So why do we do it?
convenience.
Who asked you to be convenient? Mechaber the Sefer Torah. I didn't say that. There are those who mamish go to town against this.
Yeah, I can see that. Sure, because you leave the Sefer Torah alone, I understand that.
This is it's a lack of sensitivity. It's a lack of sensitivity. I guess we'll stop over here. I'll say this over. My Rosh Hashiva wouldn't leave the Kaisel when he thought there was nobody else there. I'll leave the Kaisel alone. It's for real.